Everyone, welcome to the Thanksgiving week version of our podcast. Since it is the Thanksgiving week, we thought that we would spend a little bit of time today talking about being thankful. And we're going to add a little bit of cuteness to our podcast because we've asked the campuses and central office to send us videos ahead of time of what they're thankful for. So we're going to intersperse those throughout the podcast so that you can share with them what they're grateful for and make you maybe think about what you're grateful for. So let's go ahead and start with the videos from Plano. I'm starting with those first because they were sent to me first. So let's go ahead and roll those.
Great literary artists. And of course, my great friends at Legacy Preparatory Charter Academy.
Thankful for? Helping?
My parents and my friends.
All right, what are you thankful for?
When you get older.
How somebody teaches you this time and caring.
All right, what are you guys thankful for?
What are you thankful for? Your family, my family, and my friends.
Ready? What are you thankful for?
My family.
Okay.
Thank you to God for everything and family, the school. Got everything.
I love it. Good. That's great. And
Okay. Hold on. Wait. Okay.
Yeah, you want to go first? No. Do you know what you're thankful for? Okay. So what she asked you.
All right. Ready? Okay, Bella. What are you thankful for?
Everything.
Good job. All right, Miss Ferguson.
I'm thankful for everything as well. God has placed a lot of blessings in my life, and I'm very thankful.
So you saw a combination of parents, students, and staff members in the background and in front of the camera sharing what they were thankful for. And I'm thankful for Beat Cordoba, who is a longtime parent. Matter of fact, that was Joaquin, her son, was the very first video there. And I'm thankful that she took a minute to do this for me and be able to share a little bit of the faces at Plano location. And we'll do that same thing a little bit later with not only Mesquite West, but also central office, which we don't always focus in on. So I wanted to make sure everybody got some equal time. So gratitude is a word that we should be thinking about not only, at Thanksgiving, but all year. And there are reasons why, and there are scientifically proven reasons why we should do that. So the Harvard Medical Publishing School they send out these blogs about different topics, and this topic is giving thanks can make you happier. And gosh, if it's from the Harvard Medical School, then it must be true, right? So let's look at what they're saying. November kicks off the holiday season with high expectations for a cozy and festive time of the year. However, a lot of times this time of year does depress people because they think about the people who are gone. They think about maybe things that aren't going their way. Maybe they see other people who are celebrating and they're not celebrating with the same happiness. And so it can lead to feeling lost or overwhelmed. And yet there is something that can be done about that. The research, and they said common sense, suggests that one aspect of Thanksgiving season can actually lift spirits, and it's built right into the holiday, especially around expressing gratitude. The word gratitude is derived from the Latin word gratia, which means grace or graciousness or gratefulness, depending on the context. In some ways, gratitude encompasses all of these meanings. Gratitude is a thankful appreciation for what an individual receives, whether it's tangible or intangible. With gratitude, people acknowledge the goodness in their lives. In the process, people usually recognize that the source of that goodness lies partially outside of themselves. As a result, gratitude also helps people connect to something larger than themselves as individual, whether to other people, nature, or a higher power. So, in positive psychological research, gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness, and it helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improves health, it helps you deal with adversity, and helps build stronger relationships. People who feel gratitude, people who feel gratitude actually start feeling healthier and getting healthier. Let's delve more into that. So people feel and express gratitude in a multiple of ways. They can apply it to the past, present, or the future. In the past, they're remembering positive things, maybe a positive childhood, positive memories. Maybe this time of year you're thinking about positive past Thanksgivings where grandparents were still with us, or other family members that have since either passed on or maybe moved away. Friends that were part of our childhood who also moved away somewhere else, working somewhere else. And so those can be very healthy for us to think about this time of year. The present is for taking good fortune. That means being grateful for what is currently going on in our lives. We can always turn something into a positive if we make it a habit to do that. And in the future, maintaining a hopeful and optimistic attitude about the future helps you actually reach that more often than not. Regardless of the inherent or current level of someone's gratitude, it's a quality that individuals can successfully cultivate further. And so what the Harvard people are finding is that those people who understand that we must cultivate gratitude to make it become a stronger part and a more natural part of our lives actually become healthier both mentally and physically. So let's talk about the research on gratitude that they have here, because it's just not about what they said, it's about the actual study of it, right? And so two psychologists, Dr. Robert A. Emmons of the University of California in Davis and Dr. Michael E. McCullough of the University of Miami have done much of the research on gratitude. In one study, they asked all the participants to write a few sentences each week focusing on a particular topic. And so this is sort of interesting. Their topic was about, for one group, writing every week the positive things that they were grateful for. Then another group had to write about the things that irritated them that week. And then the third group could write about whatever they wanted. Well, after 10 weeks of that study, what they found was that people who wrote things they were grateful for each week for 10 weeks were, wrote about gratitude, were more optimistic and felt better about their lives. And surprisingly, guess what? They also exercised more, had fewer visits to the doctor than those who focused on what irritated them for 10 weeks. So that's something to think about. Another leading researcher in the field, Dr. Martin E. Seligman, a psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania, tested the impact of various positive psychology interventions on 411 people and compared with a control assignment of writing about early memories. When their week's assignment was to write and personally deliver a letter of gratitude to someone who had never been properly thanked for something that he or she had done in the past for that participant, those participants immediately exhibited a huge increase in the happiness score. So this impact was greater than from other intervention, which because lasted for months. So people who wrote letters of gratitude to people in their lives that they felt hadn't been thanked well enough had a huge increase in happiness factor. So that might be an interesting activity to do, not only as an adult, but maybe with the kids, is this week of Thanksgiving, sit down and have kids write to somebody, and it could be even mom or dad, but it could be a cousin, it could be a grandmother, a grandparent, a friend, next door neighbor, and just share gratitude for something that they had done for them or done with them. That might be a very good family activity. Matter of fact, that might be one that should be done every year at this time. So let's see. Other studies have looked at how gratitude can improve relationships. For example, a study of couples found that individuals who took time to express gratitude to the partner for things that he or she had done not only felt more positive towards the other person, but felt more comfortable expressing concerns when those times came up. So, think about that. If you are used to expressing gratitude to your partner every time, or most of the time when your partner does something positive for you, then you've built up a social emotional bank account in their heart, so that when they do something that you need to bring to their attention, you feel more comfortable and they feel more comfortable receiving the information. Let's see. Managers who remember to say thank you to people who work for them find that those employees are more motivated to come to work. And so that would make sense. There was even a study done by people with fundraisers. So there were two groups. There was a manager who thanked the fundraisers who were about to call and ask for money for a university, because I don't know if you know that, but after you graduate from a university, they oftentimes reach out, and as an alumni, they ask you to sort of give back to the college. And so the one group had the managers thanking the fundraisers that were about to call to say, thank you for being here, thank you for doing this for us, we appreciate you, we appreciate the time you're taking. And then the other manager for the other group did not do that. Well, guess who brought in more money? So the group that had the manager thank them ahead of time made 50% more fundraising calls. And of course, when you make more fundraising calls, you're going to bring in more money for the university. So I'm sure that's a practice that they're going to keep doing. So here's something interesting. There's some notable exceptions to these generally positive results in research on gratitude. One study found that middle-aged divorced women who kept gratitude journals were no more satisfied with their lives than those who did not. Another study found that children and adolescents who wrote and delivered thank you letters to someone who made a difference in their lives may have made the other person happier, but it didn't increase their happiness factor. And so the findings suggest that gratitude is an attainment that's associated with emotional maturity. So the kids that are writing letters, it's a good exercise, just like it's good to train kids to write thank you letters after being given something. But that doesn't mean that they are going to have a happiness factor increase, because they're just not emotionally mature enough to understand that should happen. Matter of fact, they're probably still mad at mom for mom making them do that. So, all right. So ways to cultivate gratitude. If cultivating gratitude is something that we must do, then how do we go about doing that? So gratitude is a way for people to appreciate what they have instead of always reaching for what they don't have or what somebody else has. It may make them happier. It will make them happier, or thinking they can't be satisfied until every physical and material need is met. And there are not many people like that, but we probably all know somebody who's always trying to get more and not ever satisfied with what they have. Those people need to work at cultivating gratitude. Gratitude helps people focus on what they have instead of what they lack. And although it may feel contrived at first, this mental state grows stronger with use and practice. So they're admitting that it may feel contrived as phony at first to do that for yourself, but over time it becomes more comfortable and more natural for you to work at cultivating gratitude. And how are some of the ways that you can do that? You can write the thank you notes that we talked about. You can, once a week, send a thank you note to somebody who impacted you positively that week, or even every other week. It could be a spouse, it could be a child, it could be a coworker, it could be a neighbor. But sending thank you notes is a way of cultivating gratitude. Thanking somebody mentally. Let's say that you just don't have time to write, but it's sometimes enough just to be mindful and to think about someone who's just done something positive for you. It can mentally help you. It may not help the individual, like in the receiving a letter does. It's a win-win for both, but just you thinking positively about somebody doing something nice for you is a way of cultivating gratitude for you. Keep a gratitude journal. It's a habit that's sometimes hard to do, but if you get in the habit of writing 2 or 3 lines each night or every other night about the things that have happened to you that are positive. When I say gifts that people have given you, I don't mean tangible gifts, but intangible gifts. Somebody made it a point to buy your lunch. Somebody did something special for you at work. Somebody helped you when you fell down. And so those are intangibles that are gifts that people give when they reach out to help and support. Count your blessings. When I read the Count Your Blessings, I didn't realize this, but I'm really good at this. And what I mean by that is I can't tell you how many times I have turned to my husband. We're at a family affair, especially thinking when my mother was alive, and we would be by their pool, and we'd have the family there, and my kids were there, and we were just having a great bonding time. And I would turn to my husband and I say, man, it doesn't get better than this. And those are the ways that I was cultivating gratitude without even realizing it. Pray. Those people who are religious use prayer as a way of cultivating gratitude. And meditation. A lot of you have heard that meditation is a way of gaining peace, but it's also a way of focusing on the present moment without judgment. And it's possible also to focus in on what you're grateful for, the warmth of the sun, the pleasant sounds that you're hearing, the good environment, the fact that you have a wonderful home that you're comfortable in. Those are all things that, as one meditates, one can, at the same time, cultivate gratitude around. So we have chatted a bit about the research behind the importance of cultivating gratitude and how it leads to being healthier in mind and body. Let's take a time out for some more videos, this time from Central Office.
Hello, I'm just be thankful for my family, for health, and for being part of this company, Legacy Preparatory Charter Academy.
I'm thankful for the new baby coming and to finally be a part of Legacy. I love it here.
I'm thankful for my family, and I'm thankful for being part of the Legacy family as well.
One of the things I'm most thankful for are the people that I work with. Angela and Buddy make coming to work every day such a pleasure.
Thank you, Stacy. I'm most thankful for my workmates and my health and my family.
And thank you both. I am thankful for my health, my family, and Legacy, all of my coworkers.
I'm thankful for life. How cool is it to be here today? I'm thankful for my friends, my colleagues, family. I would not have done it without them. I am also thankful for the fact that I work at Legacy Preparatory Charter Academy, the place to be.
I'm thank you for my family, and I'm also thank you for my legacy family. I'm also thank you for help.
I am thankful for life and health. I'm thankful for especially my mother's health. I am thankful for wonderful co-workers. I am thankful to be back at Legacy Preparatory Charter Academy, and I'm most thankful for the warm reception that I received upon my return.
That was, let's see, the first three were our admins who really help us run central office, make sure that requisitions are made, phones are answered, travel plans are made, and so forth. That was Hilda, Azanet, and Leslie. And then in the second one, that was Stacy and Angela and Buddy. Stacy is our school operations, Angela is our finance director, and Buddy is our facilities director. And then in the last one, that was Dr. Kahama and Ida Dominguez. Dr. Kahama is title funds, and Ida Dominguez does our special populations coordinator, and then Dr. Mann is our special ed director. As you can hear by their titles, very crucial. Each one of them is very, very crucial to the operations part of Legacy. So let's see. We're going to continue on with a little bit more research about how being thankful can boost your well-being and success according to science. So this is from the definitive guide to business. So even in the business world, they are writing about why being thankful is important. And you can't see this, but on the first page, there's Facebook founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg, and he's got a big smile on his face. And they refer to him in here in the fact that he, along with other notable people who have a lot of money, but really what they've had is a lot of luck, and they recognize that, and they keep gratitude as a big part of their thankfulness because they understand that they are blessed. So let's see. This business blog says, with Thanksgiving around the corner, most of us are saving our expressions of gratitude for the holidays. But according to scientists, counting your blessings year-round can be good for your mental health and well-being, ultimately boosting your chances of success. So that's why it becomes a business thing, right? Your chances of success. Taking the time to be thankful and appreciative for things you have received makes you feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improves your health, helps you deal with adversity, and builds strong relationships, all crucial traits both in and out of the workplace. And I'm sure many of our parents and our staff can relate to that. Numerous studies back up these claims, and that is that in 2012, a study examined the effects of Thanksgiving on well-being over a 3-week period. With a sample of 172 people, researchers took a deep dive into what differentiated those who felt positive emotions on Thanksgiving from those who didn't. Scientists found that participants who expressed gratitude and thankfulness on that day were more likely to feel positive emotions on Thanksgiving and increased life satisfaction the following day. So it's not only Thanksgiving, but it stays with you. So the major takeaway, according to researchers, is that a conscious focus on blessings may have major emotional and interpersonal benefits. So let's see, media mogul Oprah Winfrey tracked the things that she was grateful for in a journal for a decade. For 10 years, she tracked what she was grateful for. In October of 96, some of the things she recalls being grateful for included eating cold melon on a bench in the sun, and Maya Angelou calling and reading me a new poem. So think about that. In her mind, something as simple as eating cold melon on a bench in the sun, she equated almost as much as Maya Angelou calling and reading her a poem. Those things made her feel warm and fuzzy inside. So it doesn't have to be something major. It can be something as serene and as wonderful as just eating cold melon on a bench in the sun. In 2014, Mark Zuckerberg challenged himself to write one thank you note a day to counter his critical nature and express more gratitude. So he was actually cultivating gratitude there, because I'm sure people had pointed out to him that he might have been a little bit of a curmudgeon. And so to counter that tough side of him, he made it a point to write a thank you note to people once a day. I wonder how long that lasted. I wonder if he's still doing it. That'd be interesting, a good follow-up there. And billionaire investor Warren Buffett has often talked about how grateful he is to have achieved such a high level of success. So it's the people who understand how really lucky they are that tend to have peace of mind, healthier selves, and so forth. I actually read, and I don't remember where I read it, but I've actually read that being thankful and expressing gratitude on a regular basis can actually lead to not only people exercising more, but losing weight. So, those of you who have a pound or two to lose, and I still do, need to continue or begin to develop more cultivating gratitude so that we can get the last pound or two off. And so as a reminder for the Thanksgiving feast, moderation is always the key to feeling better the next day, both mind, spirit, and body. I know that my epiphany around changing my eating habits came the day after Thanksgiving several years ago, when I took the Thanksgiving leftovers. Gosh, I know that it was mashed potatoes, gravy, green bean casserole, those sort of, now we know, processed foods and carb loaded foods. And I'm sure there were some other things on that plate that should have been there, but after eating them, I actually did not feel very well. And that was the moment when I went, I'm done doing this to myself. And so I've worked hard, as some of you may know, at making sure that my food choices are cleaner and that I exercise more. Cultivating gratitude, as I mentioned earlier, seems to have been something that I do naturally, and I'm very glad about that. Being in the public school business can be tough on the people who work in public education, which is why we do the podcast, because we like to shine the positive things that are happening in public education. But as you know, there are lots of different people out there who have negative opinions about public education, and so making sure that we stay positive in this environment is all of our work. So one of the things that normally happens when we don't run out of time is we get to ask me a question. And so I have asked, since I'm the only one in the studio today, I have asked our producer, Derek Kaufman, to ask me a question. He hasn't told me the question ahead of time. So, Derek, you want to ask me the question?
Absolutely. So, I've worked with you a couple times now, Dr. Good, and each time that I have worked with you, I've noticed a kind of common thing amongst your kids and your schools and your educators. And I wanted to ask, since your schools seem to put such a strong emphasis on global cultures and opening children's eyes to maybe life or cultures that may be different from their own on a daily basis, where did you maybe develop a love for opening your eyes to stuff like that? Was it travel, and how does that come back to the educators and the kids?
And I'm going to answer that question, but don't let me forget to show the last videos, okay?
Of course.
I grew up in Latin America and the Orient. I was 3 when we moved to Argentina. My father was a banker with International Division, and so my sister and I went with our parents to Argentina when I was 3 and she was 2. My brothers were born there. And then at the age of 6, we moved to Mexico City and had the fortune to live there for 4 years. And at the age of 10, we moved to Bolivia. If you can believe that, this is 1968. And I will tell you, my mother received the call from my father. He was in New York, and she received the call in Mexico City that this year, they would not let us dodge moving to Bolivia. So she had talked him out of it the year before, and they let him do it one year, but now they had to go. And I remember her crying about having to move to Bolivia, because people, especially in 1968, thought that was a very primitive place. Well, we lived there for 2 years, and my mother cried when we had to leave because it turned out to be wonderful. Any place that we moved, my mother and father made home for us, and we settled in wonderfully. We were really speaking Spanish more than English then, and so we settled in beautifully in any place. And then when I was 10, we moved to Hong Kong, which was a change, and that was eye-opening. Lived in Hong Kong for 2 years. Even back then, it was a very crowded city. We had to live 6 months in a hotel, and we were a family of 4 kids, so there were 6 of us for 6 months living in a hotel waiting for our apartment to be finished. Then we moved into the apartment for the last year and a half before my father then got a promotion to go to open a bank in Singapore. So in 1972, we moved to Singapore, and that was incredible. If you've seen Crazy Rich Asians, it wasn't like that, but it was a toned down version of that. It was just a beautiful place, very well taken care of, and we loved it there. And then my father got what I always call the worst promotion ever to the United States, because we had to come back and learn how to make beds and all that. But we had traveled extensively while we were overseas, and then on the way back, we had the great tour we went to Thailand, Nepal, India, Greece, Athens, and Cairo. If you can believe that. We went to those countries on our way back to the United States to live permanently. And so I have 2 continents left to visit on my bucket list. I've been to 5. I have Antarctica and Australia left. And so I've just been very fortunate to have. I went to the Soviet Union in 1975 and then again in 1977 because I was a Russian major in high school and college, and just have been very fortunate to be able to travel the world and understand how necessary it is for our students to have, if not that exact same experience, to have the opportunity to understand there's a whole nother world beyond their community. And we're able to do that with bringing Spaniards and with our international staff that we have. And then also we have kids that now go over, we've had kids go to China, and our latest trip was Washington, D.C., which we did a podcast on recently. But so thank you for asking that, Derek. And now we're going to end with our Mesquite West videos.
Buenas tardes, Dr. Good. Mi nombre es Miss Curvo, la maestra de segundo grado de la Escuela Legacy en Mesquite. Nuestros niños de segundo grado le quieren decir por qué dan gracias durante esta semana de Acción de Gracias. ¿Por qué das gracias, Guadalupe?
Porque mis papás me quieren.
Jamie, ¿por qué das gracias?
Porque tengo una maestra buena.
Okay. José.
Porque mi familia me quiere y me abraza.
Dasha, ¿por qué tú das gracias?
Porque tengo algo para comer.
Okay. Dana, ¿por qué tú das gracias?
Porque tengo casa.
Jane, why you're thankful for?
For my family and friends.
You're my family. Joshua, what are you thankful for too?
My family has money and people.
Francisco, what are you thankful for?
For my family.
For my family. Ángel, ¿por qué das gracias esta semana? Daniela.
Por todo lo que tengo.
Sebastián, ¿por qué das gracias?
Por mi familia.
Entonces todos los niños de Today damos
gracias
esta semana. Gracias. Bye.
3. Hi, tell Dr. Good what you're thankful for.
Soy Miss Curvo, la maestra de segundo grado de Mesquite West, aquí en Legacy. Yo doy gracias durante estas fiestas, doy gracias por la familia, por mis estudiantes, por el placer de trabajar con excelentes profesionales. También doy gracias porque tenemos salud, pero sobre todo porque los niños con los que trabajamos son niños que realmente desean aprender. Yo doy gracias por las oportunidades que tenemos aquí en Mesquite.
Hi, tell Dr. Good what you're thankful for.
Hi, my name is Angelica. I work here for Legacy Preparatory Charter Academy Mesquite West, and I am thankful for my family, great friends, and a great staff.
Hi, I'm Norma. I work here at Legacy Preparatory Mesquite. I am very thankful for my friends, my family, and a great workplace.
Hi, I'm Roxanne Borrego, the office manager here at Legacy Mesquite West, and I am thankful for family, friends, and a great place to work.
So the last three are long-time Legacy employees. So Roxanne Borrego had been a long-time office manager in Plano. She moved to Red Oak or somewhere, and so when an opening became available in Mesquite, she asked for that transfer, so she transferred down this year. So this is her 8th year of working with us. And Ms. Sandoval is also a longtime employee, 8 years, and she has a couple kids with us. And then Norma also started in the middle of our first year as office manager, and so receptionist, and is still with us. So I am so thankful for them. I'm thankful for Ms. Curbo, who brought an international feel to our podcast today by having her segment in Spanish. And of course, it probably is not hard to believe that she was talking about how grateful she is for her family and for her kids and for this Legacy staff that makes her feel so comfortable. And the kids were talking about mostly their family and how happy they are. One little girl said she was thankful for the fact that they had a house. So we've come to the end of our thankfulness video this week. We thank you for listening. We hope that you have a wonderful time with family and friends, and that you all practice, I'm going to say, more gratitude, because many of you already do that, and count your blessings, because I know that you have them. So thank you, and we'll chat again next week.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Dr. Be Good show. For more information on Legacy Preparatory Charter Schools, visit our website, legacypca.com, or call 469-249-1099. And remember to like us on Facebook, where we stream live weekly Tuesdays at 3 p.m.